Welcome, good night, and good evening, and have a great sleep tonight because we're going to hopefully give you sweet dreams, sweet pathways dreams, as we continue with our District 21 week of pathways bedtime stories. And of course, you will learn a little about each level with a big surprise on Friday to wrap up our week. Again, my name is Virginia Keast, and I'm your Program Quality Director this year. It's my pleasure to introduce our guide through Level 3 this evening, a remarkable Toastmaster and a mentor of mine for sure, our past District Director, Karen Burgess. So please join me in welcoming Karen tonight.
Thank you so much, Virginia. Well, fellow Toastmasters and fellow past district directors and leaders, it's great to have you all here. I would like to just start off by sharing my PowerPoint. It's a very simple little PowerPoint. I'll just pop that up in our window. Whoops. And we're going to go to the beginning. So, Pathways Level 3 is that middle ground that we're looking at. And there are, I think most of you probably know that there's going to be a learning management change. We're going to be losing 5 paths and going down to just 6. So, I'm going to start talking about the 6 and what the projects are for each of those 6. But what I would really like is if in the chat you could tell me what paths you're working on so that we can kind of address that directly. So if you could just type in the chat what paths you're working on, so we maybe can focus on that a little bit. Go ahead. Okay, presentation mastery, a good one. Engaging humor, leadership. Is that leadership development, Lyle? Visionary communication, persuasive influence. Good, good. So we've got a lot. I'm doing motivational strategies, persuasive influence, and team collaboration. So there you go. So we got a couple on engaging humor. That's fantastic. Okay, so let's move forward. And okay, so by pathway. So in level 3, when you're looking at your dynamic leadership, the main project that you're going to be dealing with is called Negotiate the Best Outcome. And so there is a series of exercises and readings that you will do in that path under that particular category. Then when you move over to engaging humor, obviously the focus of increasing your knowledge is going to be engage your audience with humor. And then finally, you've got motivational strategies, which is understanding emotional intelligence. And I think for anybody who was at our conference, we had a great we had some great educationals on that. So I think that's somewhere where we need to go with our pathways. So let's go on to the next one. Oops, sorry, I went too fast. Persuasive influence. This one is understanding conflict resolution. So when you are looking at your electives, when you're looking at that main project, you can now choose those electives that make sense to carry on with the learning that you're getting in that main project. Presentation mastery is managing a difficult audience. And then visionary communication is developing a communication plan. That makes perfect sense, doesn't it? All right. Now, let's take a look at the actual electives. Now, I love this path because you can do as many of these as you want, or you can stick to just the mandatory 2, and then you can purchase another path and carry on and do the rest of these as you wish. When you're looking at choosing what you want to do with your particular path, you want to be able to look through there and say, okay, if I'm doing engaging humor, I wonder if connect with storytelling might be the right elective for me to do. What else might work if I was doing that? Perhaps maybe effective body language if you're trying to be humorous and tell a story and use the gestures to make yourself more humorous. So I'd like to throw it out to the audience. Okay, we had 2 people that are doing engaging humor. What types of electives do you think that you would choose to take on when you're doing that particular path? Oh, we have one doing strategic relationships. Thanks, Sandra. Who did I have doing engaging humor? Oh, I have Virginia and Bruce. Bruce, why don't you tell me what electives make sense for you with your style of humor to do for this particular level in engaging humor?
So are all these electives?
These are all the electives, yeah.
Okay. I think maybe the first one, deliver social speeches so that you can warm up the main audience and also you can engage them, yeah, with humor. So just like some awards ceremonies, and usually the person will just entertain everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to have roasting someone. And you could probably do that through deliver social speeches. You could roast one of your leaders, and a lot of times when we're giving them awards, we could roast them. So that's a good one to use. Okay, Virginia, which two would you do?
I think I've done storytelling. I'd probably do a few more, but I tend to be quite physical, so I would choose the vocal variety or the effective body language.
So something that would test your skill to ramp up your skill level. That's a great idea. Okay, we had someone that was in visionary communication. And visionary communication was develop a communication plan. So, who do we have? So that was you again, Virginia. Who else had visionary? I'm actually visionary communication as well. So what would you choose for that, Virginia?
My goodness, I think I might choose visual aids for this one because there's quite a lot of writing
Hmm.
as well.
Yep.
But also, because of my project and trying to do something a little bit different, um, I guess I might use storytelling as well.
Hmm. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to ask Maggie, persuasive influence. What two electives do you think you would do for persuasive influence, which is all about understanding conflict resolution?
I think the storytelling one, connect with storytelling, because that's always effective in persuading anybody about something. Uh, let's see, what else? Um, yeah, focus on the positive. Not sure. There's or connect with your audience. That would
Yeah.
that would be very effective, I think.
So what I'm hearing is that as we're starting to think about what that main project is, that there is the opportunity to pick more than one, more than two of these. And I'm going to ask Kristen, but I'm also in persuasive influence. And when I look at this, I wish that this pathway was available when I was working and looking for jobs, because I would do prepare for an interview, because I think that when you are being interviewed, there's a certain amount of persuasion that you need to use in order to get them on your side, to get them to say, yeah, you're the person for me. So that would be one of the things that I would do. Kristen, what would you do for persuasive influence? Oh, maybe she's stepped away.
Oh, she's there.
Uh,
I
okay.
was just muted.
Oh,
So
there we go. There we go.
I think for my goals for this path, in order to be able to influence and persuade, that I would choose connecting with my audience, certainly, active listening.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think those would be the two main ones that I would choose.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's good. And if I was thinking of a second one for preparing for an interview, I'd probably take the active listening, because listening to what they're asking is probably pretty critical for looking for a job. So that's one way to look at it. Okay, I'm going to call on Lyle. I think you said you are leadership development, or is it dynamic leadership?
Leadership development.
Leadership development. So that is planning and implementing. So what projects, what electives do you think would enhance what you're trying to do with that particular pathway?
Uh, Probably like it may not be directly applicable, but focus on the positive because I tend to be a little negative at times, and also effective body language. We had our club meeting today, and that was the general evaluator pointed out that I could probably work on my body language a little bit. So
Okay.
those are the two main ones.
Okay, right on. That's fantastic. And then I'm going to call on Sean, your persuasive influence. Tell me what you would choose as well.
I've been listening to the responses from others. I think I would go with active listening and connect with your audience. It's tough,
Yeah.
or maybe even focusing on the positive as well.
Yeah.
If you're going to be dealing with a difficult situation and challenging and confrontational, then you want to make sure you break the ice and get people listening.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. I'm going to call on Barbara. I didn't see you put anything in the chat, but what path are you working on and what would you choose for your electives?
I'm lost. I'm not sure where I am. That's my difficulty.
Oh, okay. Well, perhaps maybe that we can
I'm on-
help you with that later.
That would be good. I'm on a phone, and
Oh,
I'm
no
not
worries.
familiar with navigating the
Okay.
phone, so that's why I can't put things in a chat.
Okay, no
Or,
worries. No worries. We could probably work with you afterwards and give you a little bit more information later. Heather,
Thank you.
what about you? What path are you working on and what electives would you choose?
So I have two paths. I have dynamic leadership and presentation mastery, and I'm on level 2 in both of them.
Okay.
So I'm kind of attending today just to get more ready because
Okay.
I'm one of the paths I'm planning on being done by next Thursday.
Ooh, wow.
Well, but the level 2, that is.
That's great. That's great.
The presentation mastery.
Okay.
So I'm kind of prepping myself. And so with presentation mastery,
That one is your main project for that one is manage a difficult audience. So
is it?
yeah, that's the
Oh.
main project. And then these are the electives. So knowing that you've got that as your main project, what would you choose for your electives?
Okay, I didn't realize I had to deal with a difficult audience. So that's the required one. And then the electives, are they supposed to support that
Not
particular?
necessarily,
Not
not
necessarily.
necessarily. If you were thinking that way, you could work towards picking something that would support that main one. But you know yourself and what your skill set is and where you need to improve. So when you look at what makes sense for you to support that project and get you to be a more effective and confident speaker, which of these would you probably choose with
Well, for
presentation?
me, I'm more interested in just the things that I enjoy and that I'd like to just develop more. And the one using descriptive language is currently not a big skill set for me, but it's one I admire.
Mhm.
So I would choose that and probably I don't know. A lot of these ones I've done too many times, so I'm trying to find new ones like
Yeah.
maybe know your sense of humor. That's wildly out there for me, but maybe I need to try something new.
I think that's a great selection. I do.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And then we've got somebody new that's just joined us, Colby and Tracy. So the question I had was what path are you currently on? And if you were in level 3, well, once I know what your level is or what your path is, I'll tell you what the main project is, and then what electives would support you or support that particular project. So what have I got? I got another message in here. So Tracy, how about you?
Sure. For me, I'm currently on presentation mastery.
Okay. And that's manage a difficult audience is the main project for that one.
Right.
So if you, oh, sorry, I flipped one I shouldn't have. There we go. So what two electives would make sense for you once you've completed that main project?
Connect with storytelling.
Okay.
When I present numbers, it's good to tie with some story.
Mm-hmm.
Another one would be understand vocal variety.
Perfect. Perfect. That's great. Yeah, those are good ones that would support. And being that you're connecting with a difficult audience, connecting with storytelling allows you to add a little humor in there and deal with that disturbing audience. We just had one of those done in our club a little while ago. And so it was all done privately. And I ended up being one of the ones that was supposed to be disturbing, but they had like two of us. And so it was just this gong show, and the speaker had to sit there and go, oh, okay, and deal with how they got through it. So it was actually everybody in the room was actually laughing because it was so funny to watch this particular project roll out. So I think there's the opportunity to have a lot of fun with that too. So okay, and I'm going to call on Colby and then Sandra, I'm going to ask you as well. So Colby, what path are you currently on? And once you tell me that, I'll let you know what the main project is.
The path I'm actually just starting to get into pathways. I've been in Toastmasters for a while, but I've been very slow to get into pathways. So I'm just starting to work at getting into it, and just getting into the first level. I've done speeches. I've just been I don't ask me why, but I've been procrastinating on getting started in pathways.
You're not alone. You're not alone. There's a lot of us.
It's interesting to me. I know it's really important, but I'm just happy with myself that I got in Toastmasters and I've done the speeches I have and everything. But I realize, it was pointed out to me, I've kind of been shooting myself in the foot a bit because I should have been getting credit for all those speeches I've done and stuff.
Yeah. So do you know what the path is that you're currently working?
No, like I say, I haven't exactly chosen it yet.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I'll let you off the hook there until you do. And then when you do, you can take a look at your electives for level 3 and decide how the main project and how these electives will support one another and support what it is that you need to do.
Okay.
All right. Thanks. Okay, Sandra.
Well, this is my 10th path, but I've used each of the projects differently depending on my goal for that path.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a background in advertising and marketing, and I've been doing a lot of mentoring and coaching people who are starting as their own employer, as a life coach, as a podcaster, what have you. And they don't really know how to market themselves. So I'm starting up a small group of people to help each other lead in how to build the right social media platform and how to maintain it.
Mm-hmm.
So my favorite one is research and presenting, which is an excuse to research. And I love research. But did you know that creating effective visual aids is also your logo?
Oh, no, that's really interesting. Thanks for sharing that. Yes, that's
Yeah.
great. And then when you get into level 4, you can actually start to focus on that social media presence.
Right.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay, well, I don't want to take up too much more time. I'll just go through the five paths that are leaving us. So we've got effective coaching, which is reaching consensus, innovative planning, and that main project is present a proposal. Leadership development is planning and implementing. And then finally, we have strategic relationships, which is make connections through networking. And you notice that in level 3 in an elective, that was present in there as well. So you could actually work that twice if you were in this particular path. And then team collaboration, successful collaboration is the main project in level 3. So I just want to move along really quickly to questions and answers to see if anybody has anything that they want to ask. Anyone? Anyone? Any thoughts or ideas? Kristen, you look like you're just ready to say something.
What the hell else is new, eh?
Well, you're
I
such a wealth of information too. We just love it when you want to talk.
Well, thank you for that. That's very kind of you. I think it's also important for everybody to realize that with level 1, we are learning some really basic fundamentals.
Right.
And with level 2, we're learning some skills. So we have the real basic stuff in level 1. Level 2, we start to build some more complex skills. And in level 3, what we're doing is building on level 2. So we're thinking about the skills that we learned in level 2 and going into level 3 with a view towards just building up that toolbox so that's a little more meaty. Yeah. In levels 4 and 5, you start to apply those skills, but level 2 and level 3 in particular are really about building up that toolbox.
And as an example to support what you're saying, this I believe is dynamic leadership, but it's there you have it. Level 1, mastering fundamentals. Number 2 is learning your style, increasing knowledge, building skills, and demonstrating expertise. So absolutely. And I love the way that you supported us last year with that training session, because you really just made it nice and simple. And here is the 5 core competencies. I do believe that Virginia brought this up in a previous meeting, but these are the skill sets that you will get depending on what path that you have chosen. So something for you to look at. And this is on the website. You can find this just by typing in 5 core competencies, and this will pop up for you with every path listed and all the options in it. So you can take a look. So if you haven't chosen a path, so for someone like Colby who's just still figuring it out, you can go to the website and you can take a look at this and go, okay, what makes sense for me to take now? What is the one that is gonna get me where I want to go? And so you can look at it before you actually choose it. Yeah.
But
So
what I don't want to interrupt, but as Colby, I just like wouldn't it be like I just start with the first path, like in the first path, like how many paths are there?
There's 5 levels in
5
one
levels.
in one path, but
Okay.
the paths have titles to them. So
Okay.
So there's like one called dynamic leadership, one called engaging humor, et cetera, et cetera. And you can see all of that on the website, and you can determine what path name you want, whether you want to start with presentation mastery. And that does seem to be the most popular one, because it follows all the fundamentals of learning how to get up in front of an audience.
That would probably be good for me, because I have to sort of, well, what's right for me?
Yeah.
At this time, right. Because like I say, I've been in Toastmasters a while, and in our club, when I started, our club was quite big, and now it's small, and so it's kind of hanging in there to try to keep the club going. And I'm kind of dealing with who do I contact to try to bring in as new members, people that I've met. So I'm looking at that today. I went to call a lady today, but I lost her number. So it's just all pretty soon I'll get into the path. I'll get it all going with pathways. And
what club are you?
60 Minutes in Courtney.
Oh, right. Okay, that's fantastic. Yeah, and Virginia and I were just talking about that as well, as that would be a club that you've heard. I don't know if you've heard of the Traveling Toastmasters, but we are a group of senior leaders that have done a lot of work in the district and support clubs that are trying to sort of find their legs again from COVID and from learning the pathway program. And so we can come and do like learning sessions with your club at your club meeting. Yeah. Okay. So just invite us. Virginia.
Actually, Maggie's got her hand up first.
Oh.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, we'd love to have anybody come and help us out, to help us grow our club. But my question was just a real quick one. I'm just really impressed with the visuals you've shown this evening. And where can I find those? Are they on the website?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I will put the link that I went to get this into the chat, and you can just put that into a web browser and it'll take you right there.
Also,
Okay.
Karen, I just want to mention that Sandra up in the chat box just gave us an amazing
Oh,
tool,
yes, thank you.
Pathways version 5, it's called. It's a PDF. Maggie, you should download that. It
Yeah.
breaks everything down. Thank you so much, Sandra. We have it as well on our website, but this is here. So
Yeah, I already have downloaded that just a
Yeah.
few minutes ago. So thank
Right.
you. That's great. But any of that stuff, when I go to look for it, it doesn't seem to be wherever it is I'm thinking it should be. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I've learned too about the Toastmaster website is the easiest way to find things is not to go to the website, but to go to a browser and type in whatever it is you want to know, and then type in Toastmasters. And as long as it comes up with toastmasters.org or the color azure edge, so sky blue azure edge, those are documents that are owned by Toastmasters, and so you can get the information directly there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Great.
it's the browser inside the website is not as intuitive. So if you type in a buzzword, it gives you like 50 documents. But if you type in something in a browser, it tends to zone in a bit better into what you're looking for. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, I have 1 minute to tell my bedtime story. It's going to take me 2 minutes. So there was this little boy, and he had his favorite bear, and it was called Perry Bear. And he traveled everywhere with this bear. And one day, his grandparents came from a very far, far, far away, and they went on an excursion. And when they dropped the little boy off, Perry Bear got left behind. Well, the grandparents didn't know that Perry Bear was hiding in the back seat, but he enjoyed this elaborate trip all the way back to this faraway land where the grandparents lived. And they went and they saw the Zamboni at West Edmonton Mall, and they went skating, and they went to the park, and they went to the ice cream parlor. And finally, they realized that Perry Bear was in the back seat of the car. And so they decided that they were going to give him one final trip by Canada Post, and they put him in the mail, and he got to fly all the way home. And that, my friends, is a true story. My father wrote a book about Perry Bear for for his grandson, my nephew, about losing his little stuffed animal. I now return control to Virginia. Thank you all for your attendance today.
Thank you, Karen. What a treat.